Linking BARUTA. Communities integration through linear parks and urban networks. BARUTA forms part of Caracas mountain system, surrounded by the green belt and its biological richness, being a container of valuable ecosystems and limiting the city growth. This particular localization gives to the place unique characteristics as steep slopes that have shaded the site, creating a group of disconnected urban islands. Most of them have been built spontaneously. They function as villages with hybrid uses promoted by their own communities. Some of them have developed urban facilities according to their needs, creating their own communal spaces, but lacking public open ones. Others are monofunctional areas, being residential ones. This means that its inhabitants have to commute for other activities. To summarize, BARUTA's landscape and the lack of urban planification caused urban fragmentation, ending up with constructions on risky zones, poor connections, and pollution of natural resources. In addition to the presence of only two main attractor centers, leading to an uneven concentration of urban dynamics. So, understanding BARUTA as a system of urban islands contained by nature, how can we link them? The first one has to do with connectivity, where pedestrian routes are improved, new ones are made, and urban elevator systems are implemented, thus to achieve a well-integrated area. This, along with the improvement of roads and implementation of superficial transport routes. The second one has to do with greenways. The idea is to provide the so needed public spaces through linear parks where different activities can be held. And the last one, the third network, has to do with urban facilities. They will be multifunctional for a variety of purposes, adapting to communities' needs. To better understand all these systems working together, we choose to focus on four nodes with different urban dynamics to see how they interact with each other. To the north of the sector, we have what we called Lineal Park La Guairita, where there is the presence of diverse commercial and residential areas that lack of public spaces and mobility systems. So we look for connections from La Trinidad to La Limonera, generating alternative peatonal routes and improving existing terrestrial transport systems. These mobility networks will work along with public spaces that helps to integrate the existing areas to the urban dynamics. At the south of the corridor, we've detected a strategic point that could work as a urban articulator that seeks to generate virtual and physical connections between the neighboring communities to enhance its integration. Using as criteria the creation of open recreational spaces contained by hybrid facilities that work along with urban elevators and buildings adapted to topography, providing vertical connections. So, to make this place, full of disconnected fragments and unnoticed grid, and with lack of public spaces, work as an attractor node, we have decided to implement a network of sidewalks, stops, and public spaces to revitalize the place. Then, urban elevators will establish vertical connections related to these spaces and urban facilities. Therefore, a network of local parks that holds sport and recreational activities will be established to promote integration not only between communities, but with nature. And while further vertical connections are implemented, new hybrid residential areas will be established to help to keep spaces vitality. So, multipurpose public spaces will take place to incentivize communities integration, providing new facilities in relation with natural features of the place, such as La Guairita Ravine and the steep slopes, promoting a sense of attachment. Going to the south of La Guairita Park in order to take advantage of the wide space available in La Limonera, the development of an urban park is proposed as a core of the overall proposal. Currently, the north and south sectors of the study area are disconnected due to the marked difference in the level that the existing slope presents. It constitutes a physical barrier between both sectors. Also, it is important to acknowledge that this whole area settles on risky and unstable terrain. In order to preserve and enhance the pre-existing urban dynamics, a new urban park is proposed, with the purpose of linking and integrate the surrounding communities. The project contemplates a system of inclined lift elevators that bridge the topographic difference between the territories. The delimitation and protection of the high and lower edges of the slope through the development of a network of parks and public spaces, which interlaces existing urban facilities while new ones are proposed. Also, new areas for future housing development are considered. Thus, the system seeks to provide spaces where buildings are harmoniously integrated with the environment, promoting enjoyable and pleasant spaces in which communities can interact with each other. On the south of the site, two corridors related to Sartenejas Creek can be found. One of them is Sartenejas West Corridor. In this sector are activities related to the natural environment and the protected zone's biodiversity. There is also the presence of recreational spaces and institutional areas such as Simón Bolívar University. In order to enhance these dynamics and the beautiful nature surrounding the place, a botanical corridor is proposed that would create vertical relations between La Limonera centrality and the university, promoting activities related to the natural ecosystems and its preservation. To create these connections, a node will be developed to integrate the different spaces in the site. This node will work as a joint of urban shortcuts. The intention is to take the potentialities of the pre-existence and unify them with new dynamics. The intervention will generate vertical connections through urban elevators. Related to public activities, this will create an urban circuit where the multifunctional square will represent the main social and cultural public space. The garden will be controlled by a botanical institute and a local market that will be associated with the existing university nursery. So, where there were empty, underused, and abandoned spaces, in the future will represent a space to connect communities and nature, a space to share, admire, and preserve. Towards the east, a different approach is proposed, with the integration of an ecological park located along the ravine between El Placer and BARUTA's main road. Currently, this area is disconnected. El Placer is a gated community and the steep slopes makes harder mobility around the place, leading to isolated neighborhoods. So the creek becomes a barrier between the surrounding neighborhoods. Therefore, the development of an ecological park is proposed. It consists in the implementation of urban elevators, which can help to connect the high-exparsed urban facilities which promote local economy by working alongside with the existing ones, and public spaces where the different communities can go for recreational purposes. Also, there is a housing plan for future development. In this way, both the ravine and the main road will no longer appear as barriers, but rather as bridges, in which along them a varied range of activities can be found and spaces full of life can be enjoyed and cared for. As an example of how this space works, there is the one located at the north of the San Andres Apostol Chapel, where crops can be grown to share with the communities. This space connects to the rest of the park through platforms and elevators with the main road, forming an interplay of varying heights along the creek. Like this, a new opportunity is opened for the surrounded neighborhoods to bring to life a forgotten space with a lot of potential to become a place where communities exchange is produced. The intention of these four proposals is to check that this multidirectional network system from a pedestrian scale can be implemented in different conditions in such a complex territory as BARUTA is. Linking BARUTA is about interconnection between communities through shortcuts and alternative routes that integrate different public spaces that work as sutures of the fragmented urban islands that conforms the place today. The idea is to stop perceiving steep slopes as barriers and find in them multiple opportunities to connect, integrate, and adapt to the diversity of the place in terms of natural resources and urban dynamics.